I wasn't working at New Rockstars right during the time that Spider-Man 3 was coming out, but it's also like part of the dissection and fervor of that maybe kind of led to a little bit of this culture now of being like, well, what scoops can we find about and what can we, put out in the world to kind of like create more theories and more speculation, which I think is all great until certain things that people might be excited for don't come true, and then people are like, oh no.
Yeah, I was excited for an afterlife. Bad news.
Sorry, Al.
Hoo-ah! There's nothing there.
Welcome back to the Break Room. Marvel rumors abound, and with Los Angeles Comic-Con this weekend and a handful of updates for multiple projects, it's our own little mini Epcot of headlines, baby. Hit that graphic. Okay, I'm Zach Huddleston. Thrilled to be here today with my two compadres of compost. I don't know.
Okay.
Brandon Barrick's here.
I'll be the loam.
That's right. And Evan Yee's here.
And I'll be the
all
seed.
alone.
Yeah, there we go.
Can I backtrack?
Yeah.
What was the Epcot reference?
Oh, it was like mini Epcot. We're gonna, take a little tour around the
lagoons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't know if you were referencing Spaceship Earth, the ball.
Oh, that's also.
Yeah.
If this round thing was representing, but now I understand.
It could be.
Yes.
It could
now I
very well
understand.
be.
It's the tour.
We've got a new and innovative way of approaching these headlines. We're going to spin the wheel because we feel like there's not like an Alpha A1 headline. They're all kind of on equal footing today. So to determine the order in which we get to them, we'll spin our little wheel.
Do you want to tease a little what's on the wheel? I think some people can see Pacino there.
Yeah, so we got Marvel, of course. We've got Spider-Man.
No, that just says spider.
Well, we might just talk about spiders.
Other spider characters.
Okay.
We've got DC. I almost thought that said OC for Orange County, where Disneyland is. And we got Pacino. We got some Pacino news to talk about. We've got Simu. We got Star Wars. And of course we've got personal.
Personal news?
Yeah.
News
so
developing in our own
who
lives.
knows? Would anyone like to spin first?
Go ahead.
All right, here we go. What do we think? What do we think's gonna happen?
Pacino.
We're landing on my
IC.
Star Wars.
Everyone loves Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes. The Hollywood Reporter shared that Ahsoka Season 2 will go into production next year. Now, this had been rumored for a while, but I think this is the most legitimate news source that kind of confirmed this. So this feels like it's definitely going to happen. So 2025 production for a 2026 release, probably?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, maybe the same kind of time frame, fall 2026. That's kind of when it came out last year, right? Leading into Loki.
Yeah, and like not too far off from Acolyte release time, kind of.
Summer, early fall.
Yeah, okay. And future installments of Skeleton Crew that's coming out this December it'll be decided if there will be future installments of that show based on viewer reception. That whole thing of like, if it's a hit, we'll make more.
We'd love to make more.
Yes, but it's strongly been suggested by the creators of the show that it's a one-off.
Yeah.
But hey, go ask the creators of Shogun.
But again, I think they should just be saying it's a one-off, and that kind of drives demand for more, right?
Yeah,
Because as Shogun was coming to an end, I was like, man, I really like these characters.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see more to the story, but if this is all they got to tell, I'm glad they're getting to tell it. And it feels like, I don't know, I don't want to be watching Skeleton Crew thinking like, well, they're not going to kill off Jude Law because they just said they're going to do a season 2, so I don't care.
And we don't know the format it could take. It could be like American Horror Story-esque, where they find a different group of little kids somewhere else in the galaxy and have them go on an adventure,
Yeah.
Who's finding these groups of little kids? Well, that was how Stranger Things was supposed to be, right?
Right.
It was supposed to be an anthology show, and now we got locked into this show with these characters that we can't get away from. They don't get to leave. They're stuck in this show for the rest of their lives.
You hear that, John Watts? You can not only have multi-seasons of Skeleton Crew, you can fix Stranger Things while you're at it.
Please.
Do what Stranger Things couldn't do.
Show me suburbs all over the Star Wars galaxy.
Oh yeah, that's fun. They're riding little bikes, little speeders and stuff.
As long as they're not the Vespa crew. Don't show me those.
Show me the Vespa crew.
Now I assume all of this Ahsoka stuff, right? They're not going into production yet, probably because they're finishing up. They want to finish this Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that those are not going to connect at all. I would have thought that you'd want to get Ahsoka in your Mandalorian movie.
Why do you think they won't connect?
I mean,
Well,
they would
I
have
guess-
to go to Peridia then,
Yeah.
right? They would have to take they have to go, get in the Purgle mouth, transport all the way out there.
Or if they're just going to be like, screw this second season of Ahsoka, we're just going to get Ahsoka
Yeah.
and Sabine back to the main timeline, and they'll be like, well, we just hopped on a whale and got out of there. It was actually a lot easier than we thought it was going to be.
I mean,
What
it
about
could,
the turtle people? We left them behind. They're
the
fine. They were on
Noti.
planet. The Noti.
I mean, it could be that the movie could take place after Ahsoka season 2. It would it would undercut the dramatic stakes of
know.
Ahsoka season 2 greatly.
Star Wars is
Right.
already dealing with this, like, when is this set? When is
Yes,
this show set?
100%.
That's confusing enough as it is. They're gonna have this High Republic movie from Mangold at some point. Maybe. So yeah, that does make me think that Ahsoka will not be in this Mandalorian and Grogu, and they're gonna keep those stories separate, which I didn't think they wanted to do. I would think they were all leading together.
Well, I mean, there is that idea, right, that there is going to be this big Filoni event movie, and I think for a while we all thought it was going to be Mandalorian and Grogu. Probably now that is still separate, right? I think I think trades were like, it's probably not going to be that, and it feels like if that movie comes out before Ahsoka season 2, then it definitely will. There will still be another event movie to look forward to in the future.
Unless this is the test Filoni movie, right?
Yeah.
If Mandalorian Grogu as its own kind of like little movie does well, maybe they'll let him do a bigger kind of like climax of these characters that we know don't really appear in the sequel trilogy.
Right.
You know, there's no Ahsoka or Grogu or Mandalorian running around to those. Much later, but not much later for Grogu, who ostensibly would live for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it does make me think that they want to keep it all separate, but if this first Filoni Mandalorian movie does well, they'll probably have another one. Star Wars just seems like they're so afraid to go back to the movies.
They would love to have a hit film franchise.
Yeah.
100%. Do you think Grogu dies? The Mandalorian Grogu?
No, there's no reason to kill him. There's literally no reason to kill Grogu, and it's not fun for anyone.
Yeah.
What's the fun?
Do you think
they killed Yoda, so why kill Grogu?
Do you think Din Djarin?
Yes.
Oh,
kill
100%.
him. Kill him.
Yeah. Actually, Grogu could sacrifice himself, right? Noble sacrifice to save everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
In other Star Wars news, Ewan McGregor may have teased more Kenobi at LA Comic-Con this weekend.
He was talking about wanting to, be back in the Clone Wars armor, say there's more stories, being told that can happen between the last time you see Kenobi or Obi-Wan in the Kenobi series and then when Alec Guinness is playing Kenobi. There was one fan audibly booing in that clip if you've seen it online.
They asked Ewan, what would you like to do with the character? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, maybe Obi-Wan season 2. And one guy's going boo. And he's like, who's booing? Who's booing? Which is, it's funny, yeah. Why are you booing? Why are you booing him? But he did say he was jealous of the armor that his character gets to wear in the Clone Wars animated series. And then he kind of joked, he's like, but I'm too old to do it now. And it's like, my guy, they'll throw a face on anybody. They'll throw a fresh young face on anybody over there. And they have the technology.
Yeah, and with the Clone Wars things too, right? It's like you would be able to get more live action flashbacks with Hayden Christensen playing Anakin again.
Which would be wild to have those two as much older men, 20 years on from their characters playing their younger selves. So weird.
Yeah.
Let's Irishman the whole
the whole thing.
Okay.
Wow, an Irishman Star Wars. Holy
Should
cow.
we spin our news?
Yeah,
wheel
let's spin the wheel. Go for it, Zach.
Okay, here we go.
The drama. Star Wars? Ooh, so close to the
Simu. Okay. All right.
Time for a thirst trap thespian here. Shang-Chi actor Simu Liu posted a little shirtless pic. Do we have that pic? There it is.
Yes.
Whoa.
Caption just prepping.
Looking tasty. Yeah, with the caption prepping.
Now, is it possible he's about to get a colonoscopy and he's doing prep for that?
That's right. And he's kind of dried out.
He's dried out. He's very dehydrated. He's looking good.
Well,
he's looking swole.
Yeah.
But now, of course, fan speculation immediately went to for Shang-Chi 2 or for the next Shang-Chi appearance.
Yeah.
Possibly in Spider-Man 4, possibly in Avengers Doomsday, who knows. Or possibly for a completely unrelated to Marvel property like his
Target commercial.
His upcoming Peacock espionage series that he's executive producing with James Wan's production company.
Yeah.
Also, it's not like Simu Liu was chunky 6 weeks ago or something.
I don't know.
Like that. Like he's always in good shape.
I saw him at Erewhon double fisting Hailey Bieber shakes, and those are all sugar, dude. Not good for you.
No way they're all sugar.
Yeah.
It's like full of strawberries. What are you talking about?
H. Basso on the Twitch chat saying, he tore his Achilles, so maybe he's finally able to work out. That's right. He did get injured a while ago, so
That's
probably
right.
took him out for
Show
a
that
little
pic
bit.
again. Show that pic again. No legs in that shot. You know what I mean? You can still bench with a torn Achilles.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
true,
My man
true.
is staying upper body puffy, okay? Even if he hasn't touched the squat rack in a year, all right?
We were joking because, this is something some Marvel actors will do. Like, Tom Holland does this all the time where he's like, big surprise coming up, and then it's like, another one of his projects.
I'm in a
which
play
is
in the
fine.
West End. Yeah.
Do that. Build hype for all your projects. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So Simu could be playing here, but I think he knows. I think he is indicating he's getting ready for a Marvel project, and I bet it is the next Spider-Man, which we assume is shooting early next year. That seems to be the reports.
Put a pin in that.
Okay.
That's one.
We
of
gotta
our,
hit Spider
things
before
on
we
the
get
board.
to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Sorry. I think his next thing in Marvel would be Spider-Man, especially with Dustin Daniel Cretton directing it. I think easy to slot him in there, and I think he's gonna have a big role in Doomsday. And I still think they will do a Simu or a Shang-Chi 2 post
after
Secret Wars.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying even after Secret Wars?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think. Well, I don't know. Everything could be shaking up now.
It'd also be weird if he's in both Doomsday and Secret Wars. Yeah. Do you then also need a solo movie in between there? So,
it feels like the plan years ago when they were going with Kang and all that was that the character of Shang-Chi would be really big for these next Avengers movies. He would be one of the capital A Avengers. But all the, between the strikes and, casting changes and all that, it's pushed everything back, and they did not have Shang-Chi 2 ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, Destin was working on the Kang Dynasty
That's
movie,
right?
right?
Yeah.
So it's like all that was on the back burner because it's like, oh, well, this character's going to be in at least 2 or 3 movies in the next, 4 years. But everything has been gotten pushed so much. They don't want to rush Shang-Chi 2, so I think they're just going to wait and get through all this Avengers kind of Secret Wars stuff. But his character will be huge in all of those. And yeah, throw him into Spider-Man 4.
I mean, it will be interesting if we start, next year. It does, with Captain America Brave New World and, Thunderbolts. It does seem like there is this kind of, reconfiguring of how everyone's going to fit together. It would be nice to see Shang-Chi appear in one of those 2 films because we're definitely not getting Blade next year, right? There's no way.
Well, and, I say let the 10 Rings build up. Have it be a background force in a couple of movies. Because it would be weird, where they left Shang-Chi 1 with his sister running the new 10 Rings and blah, blah, blah. If we just hear nothing about the 10 Rings for 10 years, in Marvel time, and then all of a sudden it's like, Shang-Chi's back to fight his sister. And it's like, no, let her build up power. You have the power broker floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
You have the 10 Rings building up again. I guess the Flag Smashers are done. We don't need
There's
to
still
the
a
Flag
small
Smash-
contingent of
small
Flag
that didn't get the memo that
they're
they're
still out
done.
there fighting.
They're still out there fighting.
Serpent Society.
Tie in the Serpent Society to the 10 Rings. Yeah, I would. If the 10 Rings at least gets a mention in this Brave New World, that would be a big step.
Yeah.
But yeah, build all that up to a bigger movie.
Yeah.
I think rather than just rush it.
For sure.
Another one.
I do like this thought too from FatCat513 in the Twitch chat saying, "Do you think we see him in Wonder Man because both are based on the West Coast?
Oh yes.
San Francisco a little bit further away from LA than one might think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very possible. It might be fun to see the movie characters kind of like the same way Yelena was in Hawkeye. Ooh, yeah, it could be.
I mean, that would be a great moment, right? If Wonder Man throws his keys. Who still has to be a valet because he still got to make money. Can't pawn the 10 Rings.
Yeah, he's like, there's no Avengers. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm waiting for the next call.
Wait. You think he came back home and went right back to?
What are you gonna do? You gotta pay the rent. 10 Rings don't pay the rent. You can't just throw the rings at the landlord. Also, you know what? Throw the rings at the landlord.
Based on his last performance, I mean, are they taking him back at that valet gig, or he's maybe got a new valet?
He's not trying to be a bus driver. I know that much.
Yeah, that's true.
Damn.
Should we, Brandon? You want to spin the wheel? You want to see what we land on here?
Give me a Pacino, baby.
I'm feeling it.
No whammies.
Oh, it's Pacino.
My boy. Al Pacino.
So this isn't in the script. We're talking about it today. Pacino confirmed. Al
You gotta get the
Pacino,
quote.
actor Al Pacino confirms that there is nothing in the afterlife.
So, Al Pacino has an.
The headline said confirms.
Confirms.
Al Pacino has an autobiography coming out called Sonny Boy. He's doing press around that. And
How many pages did he turn in that he typed up himself? Do you think he spoke to a ghostwriter?
He's a multi-hyphenate, okay? He
You
might
think
have,
he typed him up?
Oh, yeah. Maybe on old school
Is he
word
using
processor.
Google? Is he
I
using
don't know.
Google Docs? Using
I
Final Draft?
I hope he does the audiobook. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh,
okay,
that would
but
be great.
the newsworthy thing, he's out there doing press. There's an anecdote in the book. Apparently, Al Pacino in 2021, pre-vaccines, caught a really nasty case of COVID. Was very ill. It kind of rapidly escalated to the point that emergency responders were called to his home in New York City. They showed up in hazmat suits. He's out of it, apparently legally dead for a moment. Then they revived him. He wakes up and there's all these people in hazmat suits in his home, and
they're saying he's back. He's back.
yeah,
as
they're
he's
saying
coming
back,
to.
as if he was
Yeah.
gone. He comes back, and then in the interview, Al Pacino goes on to say, "It was in that moment I realized there's nothing after you died. I saw no light. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's nothing. It's just black after you die." So
Yeah.
Al Pacino confirming there is no life after death.
Is it possible he was going to purgatory and he was going to nothingness?
Oh,
he was in limbo.
Yeah. I mean,
But still, there
maybe.
would be no visuals.
He didn't see the boat. His heart didn't get weighed against a feather on the boat to the field of reeds.
Who knows? John Costa is raising his hand in the studio.
On the fly producing, can I get a little Pacino from each of you about the afterlife that
Yeah.
as you're coming to?
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, I'll-
Okay.
You're coming too? Okay.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Okay, so this is Al Pacino, who's been dead, being revived.
okay.
Death's got a big ol' ass, and I'm all in it.
Okay. There was supposed to be nothing there, but it has a big old ass.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
but I mean, when you are so up in an ass, you see nothing.
Okay.
All right.
This is Al Pacino, and he's dead.
All right.
He's coming to us. Wow. Whoa, there was nothing there. You weren't there. You weren't there. You weren't there.
Jimmy Stewart?
He's Al Pacino. This is what he sounds like. That was a good. Hey, no one dragged your voice.
yeah.
I'm just saying the word choice. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, all right,
Okay,
Evan.
Evan.
Here we go.
Who is this?
This is Al Pacino coming to
Okay.
after he's died.
Okay.
My eyes saw nothing.
Oh, he's doing a My Eyes See.
Yeah, up and up.
I wanted to say Tenet, but that did not win.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
There's our
My
Pacino.
eyes
That's
see
Pacino.
nothing. That's good. That's
Evan,
good.
do you want to spin that? No, we have.
before we
Oh, okay.
spin, we do have a few left. I do want to shout out some.
Oh, real quick, when do we next think we'll see Al Pacino in the MCU?
Ooh.
Have we seen? We haven't seen Al Pacino.
Yeah, we did. He was Red Skull, wasn't he? Wasn't Al Pacino Red Skull? That's not true.
I heard Pacino did mocap.
Oh, he did mocap. That's right.
Yeah.
Corvus Glaive.
He was on set Corvus Glaive. That's true.
They went with a different voice actor. But Andy Serkis.
He was pissed because he read all the lines. He was pissed.
Yeah. I want to shout out some people on Twitch and YouTube who are supporting us right now. Let's see. Shout out Tortilla Eater and Mr. Mr. Aries for both subbing on Twitch. And then on YouTube, we got some super chats.
Oh, okay.
Nick Arhan saying, "No cap, Zach." Yes, that was no cap indeed. And we have Brisal Styles asking, "Do you think Shang-Chi will have a place in Doctor Strange 3?" Oh, interesting.
There's some rumors out there that Doctor Strange 3 will be sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
that
potentially.
Could be maybe in the next wave of post-Secret Wars MCU films.
Yeah.
I like as they establish all these kind of different forms of magic in the MCU, like starting to mix them up a little bit. That's always fun in the comics, right? When you have like Loki interact with like another magic user or something like that, and they're kind of different forms of magic cross paths.
A Doctor Strange Shang-Chi team-up movie
Yeah.
could be kind of fun.
Oh yeah,
Kind of in the classic Marvel spotlight kind of team-up.
They're still kind of weird. I mean, I guess it seems like the 10 rings are related to the Nega bands. They're trying to tile that Kree, blah, blah, blah. But just kind of doing the post-credit from the first Shang-Chi with Wong being like, we don't know what this is.
Yeah.
It's not quite magic. It's not quite just alien tech, but it's sending out a signal, all that. Yeah, find a way to tie it all together.
That'd be great, the two of them.
Yeah.
Holly Ye, both on Twitch and YouTube, saying, so excited to be supporting here, and also on Twitch. Love all the coverage and content from you guys. Thank you, Holly Ye.
Yeah, thanks.
And Jeremiah Torres asking a question that I think we can touch on a little bit more if we hit Marvel next. But how big do we think the cast for Secret Wars is going to be? I mean,
big.
Either huge or very small.
Or very small?
Yeah, just like 3 guys.
Just like a quiet road journey piece.
Yeah, just a road trip through the multiverse.
In live, real time movie.
It's Lighthouse. It's Lighthouse, but Stark Tower.
Yeah. It's the Darjeeling Limited, basically.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
That actually had a pretty big cast. When you count all the extras.
I mean, main cast. It's about 3 people.
Okay. We only have Spider and Marvel and DC. I think are our 3.
And personal.
And personal.
And personal.
Okay. If we land on something we've already hit, we'll just go to the next.
Ooh, what's it gonna be?
Oh, thank God.
DC. Wow. Okay. The board really knowing how to package a YouTube video here. One of the really interesting things from DC that we're hearing, so Lanterns, the Green Lantern series, something that we've obviously been very excited about here on the Breakroom, has hired Slow Horses director James Hawes, and on Friday it was reported that screen tests for the Jon Stewart role are happening, or were happening last Friday. So we could get confirmation of casting this week. We covered this last week with Jay, but Aaron Pierre from Rebel Ridge and also Stephen James are names that are publicly in the running for the role. Would be interesting if they were going to pivot. They're like, we got a third guy, and it was him.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how the Superman casting or the Lex Luthor casting was like
this Lantern show, leaky as all hell.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of news coming out about this when it is at such an early stage, and it's not like the studio releasing news. Because usually you might get casting news. We're getting so much news about like people not being cast and this person not or whatever, which is just kind of strange. But I think maybe speaks to the hype around this project, maybe how much they're investing in it. You know, this in theory would be after Creature Commandos we're getting later this year, Penguin that is going right now. This could be the next DC television series, and kind of the first one that is fully launched. Oh, I guess
Peacemaker season 2, right? But the first
new show fully launched under the Gunn Safran regime.
Yeah, and I know that there was talks for a while, or reports that were like Waller was going to be the next one, and it's still possible that Waller could be like released. But I think this, like, seeing all the news about this Lantern show, and it feels a little bit, you know, more traditionally like superhero-y. I mean, True Detective Murder, we'll see, but like. It's really, I'm so curious to see what this is going to be like.
I also wonder with, you know, the kind of albatross of Green Lantern as the movie that kind of hangs over DC and all like superhero movies as an often referenced bad version of like a comic book superhero movie. If they just want to kind of keep little good news leaks coming out, and just actors being involved is not a huge good news leak, but if it's an actor people are talking about and they like, it's like, oh, and they just want to get the idea of like, this isn't the movie Green Lantern, don't worry, it's different. And they just kind of want to build a little momentum before big announcements come out.
I'm hype as hell for this show, knowing nothing other than some of the names attached to the general concept. We are all loving the Penguin here. And I was saying, like, a couple takes here. I wonder if in 5 years we look back into we were like, damn, DC crushed Marvel when it came to TV. B, does DC TV crush DC movies?
I mean,
they're running like to a Star Wars issue where all of a sudden it's like the TV shows are doing much better than the movie.
And you know, obviously only looking backwards, and we maybe can include Joker or Folie à Deux, but like DC on a epic cold streak. Epic cold streak, right? The Flash, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, Aquaman 2. I mean, that's back to back to back to back. Even like the bright spots in there, Blue Beetle, was not a smash hit, right? Like, and so boy, just the fact that the Penguin is pretty successful so far. It's getting pretty good ratings, and it's successful. It's well executed. It's a good show, and obviously the Harley Quinn animated show people love. Going back farther, Watchmen is not quite the same thing, right? Like it's not really like core DC, but it was a DC property.
And the Batman was very successful.
And the Batman,
theaters.
yes.
And up until like this latest animated streak of like animated movies of the Crisis on Infinite Earths, like a lot of the animated movies were doing really well for DC. A lot of fan passion behind those as well. So I mean, I think you're onto something, Zach. I do think that we will. I mean, there's just more time in TV to tell the stories. I mean, we talked on last Monday about how maybe there might be like, budgetary issues when showing how the Green Lantern powers work and stuff like that. But I do think it'll be interesting to see that they're operating within, seems like they're operating well within a budget, right? We don't know how much the Penguin costs yet, but it seems like they're really making it all worth it, right? They're putting the money on the screen, and we'll have to see what they do with Lanterns.
and like, you know what? I trust HBO.
That's true.
HBO just knows how to do good prestige TV, and their track record kind of speaks for themselves. And so, like, I'm excited that this show's on TV. It's from like an ace TV team, right? Damon Lindelof behind it. Who's the other creative?
Ooh, I'm blanking right now.
Anyways, they're good folks. Whoever they cast. I mean, obviously. What's his name?
Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler's great, and whoever they cast as opposite him will be strong as well. So
Cast Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
Oh,
Play Jon Stewart.
Make him a lantern.
Make him another lantern. I think that'd be great. Anyone could be a lantern.
Anyone could be a lantern.
Anyone can be it.
Can
Also,
a lantern be a lantern?
What?
Like a lantern.
Like a Coleman camp lantern.
Like a methane. What do lanterns run on?
Butane.
Yeah.
well, you mentioned Joker 2. We're going to be talking about Joker 2 in the Breakroom tomorrow.
Heck yeah.
It'll be myself, Eric Voss, and Brandon will be coming straight from a screening. Immediate reaction of Joker Folie à Deux. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned by leaving this window open for 24 hours. Okay. There was one more thing on DC I wanted to talk about with Joel Kinnaman, Rick Flag, the actor who played Rick Flag, denying rumors that he'd be returning as Rick Flag in Peacemaker Season 2. I love this quote. He said, "I don't know what to say. That's ridiculous. I would never be on a show like that. It's not what I do. It's not what I do." I did not find the audio recording of this, so I couldn't read his tone.
This has got to be like a joke.
Yeah. So, his character was killed in The Suicide Squad. Spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. But we know Rick Flag Sr., played by Frank Grillo, will be making some appearance in either this or Waller. And that an episode director from Peacemaker Season 2 had originally tagged Joel Kinnaman on Instagram. It does feel... I don't think they're going to revive his character, right? They won't bring him back to life.
No, but there'll be a flashback.
Peacemaker killed him, if I'm remembering correctly. So,
yes.
I do love how he's like, I'm not going to be in it.
Also, being like, I'm above a show like that.
Why would I ever do that?
Yeah.
You did 2 Suicide Squads, man. Like, come on.
He also
He did a RoboCop reboot, I believe, as well.
That's right.
Was he in The Killing too?
Yes,
he was on a show already.
That was his first big
He's done a show.
thing.
Yeah. He's done 4 seasons of For All Mankind.
That too, yes.
On Apple TV.
I don't know that that's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Can
It's a
anybody
real
confirm
show.
that is a real show?
Well, it's not about a real time. It's historical fiction.
okay.
Yeah.
All
It's
Apple
not
TV
real.
shows might as well be just like things that somebody else mentions on a TV show.
Disclaimer starts this week. You've probably never heard of it.
Disclaimer, let's go. All right, so we've got Marvel and Spider left to talk about, as well as personal news.
Let's just get to the good
Yeah,
shit.
we'll get to Spider.
Right after we plug
NerdRiot.shop. Some of our Agatha merch is selling really well right now. Check out NerdRiot.shop to pick up merch to support all 3 channels in the new Rockstars network. Look at all those options. Agatha's been a great show. Obviously, we've been talking about it a lot. And celebrate your love for it by picking up some merch there.
Oh, yeah.
So go to nerdriot.shop, pick up some merch to support all 3 channels in the new Rockstars network. All right, let's talk about these Spider-Man rumors. Some really kind of late-breaking things before the show started about Spider-Man 4, potential plot details, potential casting news. It might seem like Venom: The Last Dance has something to do with this movie more than you would think. Alex Perez from Cosmic Circus saying that there will be a, inclusion of multiple symbiotes in this movie. Also saying that there's a strong possibility that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will show up for an extended role, and that Tom Holland will be getting the black suit sometime in the next few years and will be keeping it throughout Secret Wars. And my time to shine, hello, sharing that Dr. Doom will have a role in Spider-Man 4. What do you guys think about all of these details?
Also, Alex Perez saying Knull will appear in Spider-Man 4 as well. He will be along with those symbiotes or whatever, right? Which makes it feel like Spider-Man 4 is almost a sequel to Venom, The Last Dance, almost, right? Like,
I guess. I don't know. All of this seems like really weird.
He's also saying that, like, as of now, Spider-Man 4 is leaning more cosmic, less street level. Maybe the inclusion of all these symbiotes and Knull and all this kind of stuff, which is interesting. I mean, take all of this, again, with teeny little spider egg-sized grains of salt, okay? Because these are from scoopers. This is not official news. This is not even being reported in a place like the Hollywood Reporter or anything like that. But it is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like, the fact that they would tie Venom directly to Spider-Man 4 is something that we've been, like, kind of speculating on, but, like, not something I believed, especially, like, if you had Tom Hardy playing a version of the character that most people have liked, for these last 2 to 3 movies now. And he's like, this is my last one. I'm not coming back. Obviously, we will get some type of other, that the symbiote will go find someone else to be Venom, right, to be the host of Venom. But it feels weird. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It does seem like a news you want to kind of leak out ahead of this Venom movie so that people go and see this Venom movie.
In just a couple weeks.
Which in the Venom movies have been the most successful of the kind of Sony spumsy like villain verse that they, the movies they do without Marvel the most, right? The Venom ones have been the most successful. Tom Hardy definitely feels like he's done with it. He wants to move on, wants to stop doing at least these standalone Venom movies. I bet there's like people kind of concerned about like losing this character that's been successful for them. So why not start this idea that like, oh yeah, he's a big part of Spider-Man 4. And I'm sure that as they put together the Spider-Man 4 movie, there are versions of it that include the black suit. There are versions that include Venom or a symbiote or Tobey and Andrew. Why wouldn't you consider all of these options?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to pack all of that into the next Spider-Man.
And we don't even know that there is a final script ready for this movie.
Right.
This is very speculative. I'll also say the one other piece of news that just came out, or did you already say the
Dr. Doom?
Right?
Yeah.
Like the Dr. Doom will appear. I mean, that is a lot to cram into this movie, right? And maybe all of those things are being discussed as possibilities, and maybe one or two of these things is confirmed, but like there's so much at play, right?
I mean, you gotta assume if Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom, right, if that's in Spider-Man 4, it's probably a Thanos level appearance from the first Guardians, that amount of screen time, that amount of involvement to like kind of get the story rolling. But it's a story about Peter Parker fighting off all these like symbiotes in for whatever doesn't get resolved in Venom: The Last Dance. I do think too, like from if Sony's gonna be like, let's look at it from a business perspective, right? Like if these are successful movies for us. Garrett Bridges in the YouTube super chat asking like, what would it take for Marvel to get the rights back from Sony? I think it's more that Sony won't want to let go of it.
They don't want to let go of it.
And
that's why they're working so hard to make all these other projects.
Exactly. And so if they're looking like, some executive who's not a very, very creative thinker is like, wow, like that last movie we made had, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in it. People seem to really like that one. What's it gonna take to get him back for a third, for another go around?
It wouldn't hit. It won't hit the
Really?
same. I don't want to see it again.
Interesting.
I really don't.
I don't want Tobey and Andrew in the next Tom Holland movie.
You got to tell that story and wrap it
too
up.
often. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus I like I mean that last movie was so big and had multiple Spider-Man and all that. It would be nice to like refocus on a Tom Holland story too.
Yes.
Though I will also say, you can say a lot of things about Sony, and people have. We have.
We have.
We will when Kraven comes out. We probably will when Venom 3 comes out. But give them credit for No Way Home, right? They did not leak that stuff. It just barely kind of came out, and it was right before that movie. People certainly weren't saying that when it was at the scripting or in the early production phases like we are on Spider-Man 4. So I would say, like, if, any of these things end up happening, like, we won't know until the movie comes out.
But also, it's like, I wasn't working at New Rockstars right during the time that Spider-Man 3 was coming out, but it's also like part of the dissection and fervor of that maybe kind of led to a little bit of this culture now of being like, well, what scoops can we find about and what can we, put out in the world to kind of like create more theories and more speculation, which I think is all great until certain things that people might be excited for don't come true. And then people are like, oh no.
Yeah, I was excited for an afterlife. Bad news.
Sorry, Al.
Hoo-ah! There's nothing there. God said, I'm not doing any work on day 7.
Attica,
I've got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Different guy.
No, Al Pacino was in. What are you talking about?
Guy.
Al Pacino was in Meet the Parents.
God, you were my brother. You betrayed me.
You were supposed to unite the Jedi, now leave them in pieces. Hoo-ah!
Different guy.
No, that was Al Pacino was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No.
After Alec Guinness.
No.
He's doing Alec Guinness's voice.
Maybe,
it's Al Pacino
maybe
doing
that's
Alec Guinness's
Bill
voice.
Hader in the SNL Star Wars audition spoof playing Al Pacino.
He was with my mother in the Amazon while she was researching spiders just before she died.
Now that
Ooh-ah!
I would have paid to watch. Al Pacino as...
Just do Madam Web, just Al Pacino.
Dude.
Oh,
I actually don't really know my mother. I have no suggestions for how to be a good mother. I can't get this Pepsi can open.
He would be eating those lines up, dude.
You're like so annoying. Just so annoying. Your voices are just nails in my head.
Pacino.
All right, let's round it out with some other Marvel topics here. So there was a rumor last week that director James Samuels, aka The Bullets, who directed The Harder They Fall and last year's Book of Clarence, had signed on to direct Blade. And when Jeff Snyder said he wasn't doing it anymore, James Samuel himself tweeted that it never was a thing. So, we spent a lot of time talking about rumors today. And then you hear it from someone else. I mean, it really is, we've talked about it a ton here and on New Rockstars channel, but like, it is just very interesting to see, how, Blade highly anticipated and now just nothing. Like, this is supposed to come out next fall, still allegedly, right? Still kind of slated.
Hollywood hot potato. Somehow.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to touch it. I don't know. Or sometimes it's just bad luck just kind of compounds and like one thing doesn't work out and you go to the next thing, somehow that doesn't work out and then, flash forward and it's a year later. Or that was San Diego Comic-Con 2022 when that was first announced.
Yeah.
When he put up the big timeline.
And Mahershala came out on stage. I mean, we're over to...
Pre-COVID.
Because Mahershala's voice is in Eternals. That was 2021.
No, John.
Yes.
Yeah, John's right.
No, is that right? Good God.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Part of the journey is the end.
Yeah.
Part of the journey is the end.
It's like that part at the end of Fast and the Furious 9 when Toretto's driving and he looks over and then there's Al Pacino and Al Pacino's like, ooh-ah! And then he pulls off to the side.
Different guy.
He was like, been a long time.
Now,
they
deepfaked.
Hoo-ah!
They deepfaked Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious. But was that Al Pacino underneath the deepfake?
Yeah. It was Al Pacino.
They're like, we can get either Paul Walker's brother or we can get Pacino.
They covered my face. I was in it.
They put the dots on me.
They put the dots on me. I thought my costume was just a tight gray suit.
Throw in the chat the other uncredited Pacino appearances he's made.
Pacino will learn. I will learn. Ooh-ah.
Oh, mama.
Which one of the Deadpool corps was Pacino under the mask? Was it Welsh Pool?
Welsh Pool was
it
actually
Kid
Pacino.
Pool? Who was it?
Al Pacino. Obi-Wan Kenobi saying Al Pacino's Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Unintelligible.
Already
Already unintelligible. Ooh-ah. I'm going to make the big meal out of this. Ooh-ah. They're going to remember my name. Ooh-ah.
Nice.
Cassandra Nova's got a big ass, and you're all up in it.
Who's Matthew McFadden? What was his character?
Paradox.
Paradox got a big head, and her hand is all up in it.
Oh yeah,
That's good. There you go.
For you children out there, if you were born after
Go watch the
2002,
movie Heat.
Watch the movie Heat. Incredible movie, Los Angeles based, very practical effects. It was the olden days. Al Pacino's character, as he's doing his character, he was told his character had a cocaine problem.
Yes. Never shown on screen.
Never shown on screen.
Subtext only.
Now that you'll be watching this long movie and you'll be like, they really didn't have time to get to this storyline? They didn't. I'm sorry. They cut it out. They didn't tell Al Pacino, who's giving the performance of a man, dealing with a cocaine addiction.
Very coked up, yeah.
Some other suggestions from the chat. Al Pacino playing Austin Butler playing a Southern lawyer.
Impossible.
That's a
Impossible.
break room turducken right there.
That's approaching
The weird nexus point.
Yeah.
Al Pacino is the
break room turducken. Is that what you said?
Yeah, there we go.
GSU Eagles like Al Pacino is the ancient one. Christian Unpronounceable Pinhead and Hellraiser. Wow, a lot of incredible suggestions.
Oh mama! Oh mama! I don't know. How do you merge those two distinctive?
Yeah, they're so close.
The Colonel said, "I had a big ass."
Yeah, you almost see Al Pacino as like the Colonel, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
We all wanted a piece of Elvis. Everyone wanted a piece of Elvis.
Well, we thought it was Tom Hanks under all that prosthetic. We don't know.
Pacino, yeah.
We don't know. We didn't get confirmation.
Yeah, he does a lot of silent roles. And other rumors that may be true or false. There was some descriptions about a test screening for Captain America: Brave New World. We won't get into too many of the details, but one of the interesting things is that Amadeus Cho will be making a cameo appearance, played by Logan Kim, aka Podcast from the new Ghostbusters movies.
What's the fist up for?
I love his name is Podcast. Okay. I think it's so.
Now, I didn't know what part you were really standing.
Oh yeah.
Just the name.
The name Podcast.
The cojones to name the character Podcast.
He has a podcast.
They named him
Podcast.
Yes.
A lot of people asking, could we finally be getting some type of World War Hulk or Planet Hulk type of movie? Is Captain America: Brave New World setting this up? Setting up for a World War Hulk scenario, or is it going to happen in this movie, an upcoming one? There's a lot of Hulks in play right now.
A lot of Hulks.
But now there is this rumor, I think never confirmed by a Marvel studio head, that as part of Universal used to have the rights to the Hulk.
Yes,
they
correct.
released the 2 solo Hulk films. Marvel kind of got those rights back, but there's been this long-standing rumor that as part of that, for some reason, they can never make a solo Hulk project.
Yeah.
Hulk can appear willy-nilly in any kind of...
Hulk can't be alone on film. Hulk can only appear. Hulk have too many lines.
Pacino's Hulk.
Now, again,
No, that's
we've
not
never
Pacino.
gotten confirmation on
That was
that.
Hulk.
That might not be true at all. And obviously, maybe if that were true, though, that might explain some of they've tried to develop a She-Hulk. Scar making an appearance, Red Hulk making an appearance in Brave New World, right? Develop other Hulk characters. There are a lot of Hulks.
Yeah.
But you gotta sell new Hulk toys.
That's right.
Can't
Those
be like-
hands, you can only sell so many green hands, but you paint them.
Mom, I need the red hands. I'm supposed to be Thunderbolt Ross.
You put some fingernails on them.
Where's my fucking mustache, Mom? You're ruining my Halloween costume. I know the Hulk has green hands.
Yeah.
I'm Red Hulk. I still have red hands.
I think that's going to be a big one next year for the
Big
kids.
lot of next
Lot of
Halloween's
Red
gonna be
Hulks.
all Red Hulks.
Throw in the chat. Yeah, what superhero character? Spider-Man / Miles Morales. I feel like has been for the last 10 years the
there
number
will
one
be
kids costume. But is it going to
so
pop
many
up
Deadpools
Deadpool
this
and
year.
Wolverine?
Yeah.
More Deadpools than Wolverines.
Ooh.
I feel
That's
like,
a good
and they're going to
question.
I
come
think it
for
needs
the
more
Spider-Man
Wolverines.
title.
More Wolverines.
But there's going to be, but the Deadpools will look pound for pound
Yeah.
better, right? Because it's just an
Yes.
easier costume.
And
Hey, if
especially
you're-
on a little kid.
Yeah.
If you're watching the show right now and you're getting ready for Halloween and you're a homeowner, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, as the kids come up to the house this year, keep a little tally.
Well,
on your
I
Deadpools and
get a
Wolverines.
ton
Yeah.
of. I rent. But I get a ton of trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood, and I will be tallying.
Tally.
I will be
Nice.
tallying.
Yeah, everybody do a little tally.
And how many Pacinos do you get? And I'm not talking kids dressed as Pacino.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
talking
which-
barely alive Al Pacinos that stumble up to your house
Or
and say,
he's got kids.
"There is no God."
I mean, that is a
got
He's got kids. He's got young kids that are probably out there trick or treating.
that's a topical Halloween costume this year. No Afterlife Al Pacino.
Just
This is what we got.
a glazed eye Pacino. Pacino from his freaking Al Kevorkian, Dr. Kevorkian movie, HBO movie.
Who's Al Kevorkian?
Well, when Pacino plays Kevorkian, he's Al Kevorkian. Or I was gonna say the Joe Paterno movie too.
Hit the showers, kids. Not you.
Hey, Afterlife, hit the showers.
Hit the shower.
Here's the real thing, okay? Hulk is narratively limiting as a character, and that's why they're not doing standalone Hulk movies. Because they have Hulk now as Smart Hulk. They probably don't ever want to go back, right? Because the main narrative thrust of like a Hulk movie is, can Bruce Banner control Hulk, or will Hulk go crazy and kill everybody?
In his last 3 appearances, that has not been an issue.
They've nuked that. Mm-hmm. So you either have to go back, you have to, something's going wrong and he can't control it anymore and the Hulk is taking over. Or you've got to move forward and create 30 new Hulks and tell like different stories. And I think that's what they want to do. I think that's what they had to do in the comics eventually. And I think that's why they like pairing Hulk. Whether or not they have the rights to do it, I think they're just like, it's tough to do a standalone Hulk movie on its own because he is this weird character that is like unkillable, unstoppable, but you always have to find a way to stop him. And that's not just, I'm not ragging on the movies because the comic books, they find dumb ways to stop him all the time. But it's a weird character to deal with, right? And so unless you have like a bunch of other Hulks for him to interact with, it's just easy to throw him together with Thor and see the kind of fun interaction that they have.
Yeah, I mean, and even like, you know, She-Hulk, part of it was budgetary, but like he was like, I gotta be, you know, out in space for most of this thing. And obviously it's her show, right? But it does like the question's like, well, what are they gonna do when all of them are together, right? Like we were talking earlier a little bit, like a World War Hulk thing. We don't want to see this version of the Hulk like go on a rampage and try to kill all the heroes that like he's ostensibly friends with. So I mean,
because World War Hulk works in the comics because they were like, man, this Hulk's a problem. He messed up again and he killed a bunch of people. What are we gonna do? Well, we can't kill him ourselves. Let's just get him out of here. And it pissed him off. And like that's fun. And he's the villain in that story. Villain with a purpose, but or a right, I don't know, a motivation. But like unless you want to do that, but I don't think they want to do that with Mark Ruffalo's character, our Bruce Banner. So yeah, we're gonna invent other Hulks and tell fun stories that way. And if Amadeus show is gonna show up in Brave New World, fine. But I bet there's no hulking happening. And he's just like there.
He's probably just a kid, right?
An intern going through the White House that day.
I mean, I think like to revisit one of the questions from earlier that Jeremiah Torres has asked, how big will the cast of Secret Wars be? I mean, obviously it will be huge, right? There's no reason that they wouldn't want to include nearly every single featured character and supporting character, hero character who's still alive that, you know, that hasn't been in it. I mean, do we get all those Hulks coming together just for Secret Wars, you know?
I think that could be fun. I think maybe even the better question is, how big will the Doomsday cast be?
That's true. Is
it like a true Infinity War Endgame where you have almost everybody's in Infinity War and then you get even more people in Endgame? Or is...
Well, but most of Endgame is a few people. It's like the last 20 minutes.
You get everybody and you get even more people than you had in the first movie. Whereas... Right, like Age of Ultron or First Avengers, right? Like it's those 5 or 6 people, right? And maybe like a couple other side characters.
That's kind of where this IP arms race has led us, right? You know, it was first. Well, how many movies can you do in a franchise? You know, when like Harry Potter was like, well, we got 8 movies out of this. Oh, you know, Star Wars started and then MCU has gone to 28, 9, 30. Have we hit 30 movies yet?
I think so. I think
beyond
it's
30 movies and TV shows.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and even within the MCU was like, well, can we do an Avengers movie? They did it. Can we do, you know, this Infinity War Endgame? We did it. And now with something like, you know, No Way Home, it was like, well, how many different versions of a character can we get in a movie? And then Deadpool and Wolverine was kind of similar. Like, how many can we pack in? How many fights can we pay off? And now it's like, we're in the end game now of how big and long and many cameos can these movies have.
That's why I hope they don't try to recreate the Infinity War Endgame thing. Even if it is a 2-part story, I hope Doomsday is more of a small team movie. Pick your 6 oh, it's Sam, it's Shang-Chi, it's
Yeah.
Yelena, it's whoever the new, like, 6 Avengers are.
Bruno,
get his ass in there. Scar, for sure,
Yeah,
right? Bring his
definitely.
haircut, get them all in there. And have that be the main cast of Doomsday.
Yeah.
But then that bleeds over. And then Secret Wars, I mean, that's the kind of a plot. The fun of that is, holy shit, it's everybody.
Everyone
right?
coming in. Yeah. I also see in the Twitch chat Hector Navarro saying
Hey, Hector.
World War Hulk in the MCU should be that Bruce loses control and Jennifer / Thaddeus / Betty need to team up to stop him or help him. Some Avengers can try and stop him too, but it should be a Hulk and She-Hulk centric story. I like that. Yeah, a way to kind of like reconcile the two of them and see how they work together.
Does Hulk survive that movie? If Hulk goes bad again, loses control again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Hulk persona takes over for good. Do they get Bruce back at some point, or do you have to be like, we have to find a way to like?
I don't. They'll
end
never.
it?
What if-
They're gonna
kill the
They'll
Hulk.
never kill Hulk.
But what if the end of the movie
Mom,
is...
throw away these green fucking ants! They killed the Hulk! And they killed the Hulk, Mom! Kevin Feige killed the Hulk!
They'll never kill the Hulk.
But what if it's Mark Ruffalo being like, yeah, you know, maybe I'll show up again one. Like he's like, there's like a line that Bruce Banner as a human is just like, I'm gonna be recast. Like basically,
Yes.
when the next time you see
I mean,
Bruce Banner the Hulk in this universe,
It's
a new
Ed
actor.
Norton.
I'll do the treatment, but it's gonna mess up my face when I go back to my human form, so I might look different.
I'm gonna look a lot like Timothy Chalamet, but
Dude, Timothy Chalamet as new Bruce Banner.
damn, dude,
Ship
he can
it.
pull it
Something
off.
there.
Ship it.
Also, like the contrast, even better because he weighs like $105.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
really
that's
helps
a
out.
real. That's a real.
Or I mean, finally our guy, Austin Butler as Hulk.
Austin Butler is Hulk? No, mama.
No, mama.
No, mama.
You don't believe him as an expert scientist?
No. Unless this is the version where Bruce Banner is a rock and roll star.
What might that sound like?
Be like, hey, Tony. He goes,
He says, Hulk, smash, hit records.
I'm seated. I'm here for it. I want to see it.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks so much for tuning in today, everybody, for this very normal Monday
Informative?
headlines. Informative. We covered a lot of ground. We didn't cover any personal stuff. Any personal news anyone wants to share?
Hey, I want to hear in the chat or the comments, if you watch this far, what are your opinions on ice? Okay? I'm not talking about the kind that's on a road or a driveway. I'm saying, like,
driveway ice?
What do you like in your beverage?
And I think you will find, Zach, that most people like a tiny ice.
No.
They like a tiny,
Here's
round,
the thing. Let me be
crunchy
specific.
ice.
I like a crushed ice, okay? If I'm going to be eating it. But if I just
didn't
need
say
a
crushed.
cool,
I
if
didn't
need
say
a
crushed.
cool beverage, this guy he's recommending like fish tank size pebbles of ice.
There are all sorts of sizes of pebbles that go in a fish tank. Okay.
But he's saying like Advil sized pieces of
They're
ice.
bigger than an
and that is
Advil.
wrong.
They're bigger
like a
than
marble.
an
It's
apple.
a
They're bigger
marble.
than an apple.
No,
It's a marble.
it's smaller
It's a
than
marble.
smaller than a
No,
marble.
it's a
smaller
marble.
than
It's
a
a
standard
marble
marble.
Yeah,
I need-
okay, maybe.
Here's my thing.
Oh, it's a bee?
It's a bead.
Beads?
Beads.
A bead.
Beads.
Here's my thing. I don't mind crushed ice. If you
I
got a
didn't say
big old
crushed
bunch
ice.
of it.
I did
okay?
not say crushed
But
ice.
if otherwise, I need big old honking ice. Okay. Frankly, if I'm having a cocktail, I want one giant cube of ice.
You're at work. Frankly.
Sometimes, hey, sometimes 3 p.m. feels pretty late. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But put in the chat, what are your ice preferences? If you're a crazy European and you're gonna come at me with
No
room
ice?
temp,
Hit
Get
Hit
out
the
of here.
road.
Unsubscribe.
Hit the road, Jack.
Unsubscribe.
I mean, I did
Hit
see
the
one
road,
of those
Jack.
already. I'm seeing a lot of Crush. I'm seeing.
I'm not
Sphere
talking
Ice.
crushed. I am talking ice that was formed into a sphere in its mold with warm water that was given enough time to cool so that it became clear and you could see right through
Clear
it.
ice. Clear ice is a big deal.
Clear ice,
is
full
a
cup,
big deal.
can't stop drinking.
Kobe-Wan Kenobi saying Sonic Ice, like the round
Sonic
crunchy
Ice.
ones.
Yes. Okay.
People saying do not crush my ice. Joycey Lad says no ice ever, just waters it down. Sorry, Joycey. Disagree.
You got ice.
Big cubes, big cubes, big cubes.
Okay, here we go. We got
Big
evidence
cubes.
coming in.
We got
Evidence
flaked ice.
coming in.
All right. John's got the ice.
This is gotta go
how
back in
big
the freezer
ice
pretty
is.
quick.
We gotta
This is how
Okay.
big the ice is.
We're talking tiny ice.
We're talking. All
I
right,
don't
all
want
right.
to touch it. We have a little scooper.
John's about to cut into the close-up. Here we go.
Tiny ice. Tiny ice. Can you see the ice?
It's too tiny. Here,
It's
you
too
want to drop
tiny.
it in there? It's too.
No,
Look,
this
it
is
almost
good.
disappears.
I'm pretty into the ice.
No, yeah.
I'm pretty into
Now
tiny.
imagine that, but like a lot of it. Listen to that sound.
Oh, that's a
ASMR.
good sound. That's a good sound.
That's ISMR. ISMR.
Look, it's almost already gone.
Yeah.
It's almost already gone.
What if
Eric
you-
Moss, what are
Eric,
your
did you
opinions on
have
this ice?
opinions on the ice, Eric?
He's peeking in.
Well, here's the deal. Because a sphere,
We gotta get this back in the freezer. We're losing
a
integrity.
sphere will melt. It has the least amount of surface area, right? So that's why
Okay.
they have large spheres in like glasses of scotch or cognac or other stuff. But tiny spheres, like I feel like the overall size of them, if it's just little beads, those beads are going to dissipate within minutes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have to have a lot
so
of
big
beads.
chunks, big chunks.
If you're gonna have a lot of beads, why not just have one big piece of ice?
Now it's different though. Brandon might have a point.
Insulated cups. You're using a bag cup.
Then don't even need ice.
Hey, please don't.
But you could
please
get
don't
this
call
cup.
that bad
You could get this cup at nerdriot.shop.
That's right.
We're imploring you to go to nerdriot.shop. Buy 12 of these cups. Run a few tests in your house.
Insulate them at home. Just get some fiberglass.
Right, wrap a towel around it.
Oh God.
Here's the big point, though.
Okay.
If you use all the ice, you should refill the ice right now, right? 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 Doesn't matter the size of the ice.
We always used to say,
Style.
Oh
with
boy.
the bread, if you kill it, you fill it.
Ah,
Now,
that's
with
good.
the ice, I feel like if you
dump it,
if you sheave it, you leave it.
You sheep.
If you cleave it, you leave it. Okay.
I don't like this.
If you got it, you know about it. You know what I mean?
You know, but
You got a big old ice.
all right. It was beautiful. It was golden roads everywhere. God up on Mount Sinai said, "Hello, everyone," and he gave me a glass of ice, tiny little beads of ice. That's not Al Pacino. I don't know
That's
who that
more
was.
Ozzy Butler. Yeah.
I think it was. I don't know.
John Voight.
Oh God. I think you got it. I think you
That is
got
John
it.
Boyd.
John Boyd.
Rest in peace.
Megalopolis. Hey, that's it for us today. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube and on Twitch, where we do videos like this live this
this?
week. Like this. We'll talk about ice. We'll talk about bagel time delivery. We'll talk about
Oh,
whatever
dude.
you
You better
want.
come back.
We gotta go.
You better come back tomorrow or Wednesday to get your bagels, okay?
We gotta go.
It'll be a special 3-hour show.
I can't believe Evan just said that. We have got to go. I gotta leave.
Damn, dude.
Come back tomorrow to hear us talk about the Joker Folie Adieu. Come back Wednesday for the return of Breakroom Assembled, but in a slightly different way, talking about some of our favorite Halloween movies. Follow Breakroom NR on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. We'll catch you later. See ya.
Bye.